All right, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to a new episode of the Consumer Ammunition Tactics Podcast, or CATS. I got a special guest today. I got my homie Julian, J Talks Credit. I'm gonna read his bio, and then we're gonna get straight into it. So Julian Pilate-Hutcherson is currently the founder and president of Take Flight Solutions. He has served his community as a credit expert, helping growing entrepreneurs grow their businesses by leveraging their credit. He grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and graduated with a BS in Applied Physics from Morehouse College and a BS in Civil Engineering from the University of Notre Dame. Since leaving his corporate job as an engineer, he's dedicated his life to helping entrepreneurs in his community improve their credit, structure their businesses, build business credit, and obtain high-limit business funding. Welcome to the podcast, Julian. How you feeling, bro?
Thank you, man. That introduction was amazing. It's as if I wrote it myself, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I didn't even know you left the job. Congratulations on it.
Man, thank you, man. It was a huge jump.
Yeah.
Man, it was something that had been dying inside of me for so long. I was working at a job that wasn't fulfilling. You know, working at a job where everybody around you just isn't happy. Everybody's just complaining, you know. Although I was making six figures, it was just like, to a point, how long am I going to be here? You know, how long am I going to be here? Because I've talked to people who are around me where they've been in the same position for 20 years longer than me, and they're still making the same amount of money.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And I just wasn't making an impact, so I was like, man, I got to go all the way in on this business, man.
Most definitely. We're going to tap into that. But before we even get into that, some people might be listening. They might be like, okay, we see him with the reels and things of that nature. Can you tell us who is Julian? Maybe where you grew up in and all that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just to recap, man, I'm from San Francisco Bay Area in a city called Vallejo, which is about an hour south of Sacramento, about 30 minutes north of Oakland, San Francisco, all that area. 29 years old. Grew up thinking I was going to be an engineer. I was going to do nothing but just math, science, all of that. I love playing with Legos, love construction, all of that, right? And found out that this is not cut out to what I wanted to be, right? It's not what I wanted to do. Yeah. So, man, as I started getting some income with my engineering, I was like, man, this is something I need to be able to do something with my money. I need to do something with my money. So I started studying. About personal finance, started studying about investments. How do I make sure my money is built? How do I make sure that the money that I'm getting to this today is going to be here 20 years down the road? How do I make sure that my kids are going to be able to eat off of the money that I'm getting today, right? Because there's so many times we hear about people making all this money, but then blowing it because they don't know how to maintain it. They don't know how to grow it. Right. So I told myself, look, I'm in a great position right now. I'm in my early 20s, mid 20s. I'm getting paid six figures. I don't have a kid. I don't have a wife. I don't have a mortgage. Let me take advantage of this. Right. So started studying, found out about real estate, man. Like they say, I don't remember the statistics. I think it's like 75% of all millionaires own some type of real estate. And I said, okay, well, look, that's obvious the route that I need to take. So I started studying about that, podcasts similar to like Bigger Pockets, on blogs, forums, literally until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I really got obsessed with it, right? And I told myself, hey, I got all this money saved up. Let me buy a multifamily property, single family, I don't care, right? Let me just buy something. But me being out here in California, we all know it's expensive as hell out here.
Oh man, fast.
You feel me? And I know you know out there in the Northwest, it's the same way. Yeah, so it's like me being 24, 25 years old, I had about $40,000, $50,000 saved up. Even if I drop that all on a down payment on a multifamily property, and I live out in a house hacking, for those people who don't know what house hacking is when you get a multifamily unit or some type of property, you live in one unit or you live in one room, rent out the other rooms or units so that all the rental payments pays for your mortgage. And at that point, you're technically living for free. Right. So I wanted to run that play. However, the numbers didn't make sense. I was going to drop $40,000, $50,000 on a property, But because the mortgage would be so high, the rental payments that I got consistently every month wouldn't even cover all the mortgage. So I was like, man, it's got to be a better way. So I started thinking about how to invest out of state, where in states like Georgia, Louisiana, South Carolina, where properties can go for 200K, right?
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, let me take a step further. How do I invest in these properties without using my own money? Right? So I found out about people using credit, specifically business credit, business credit cards. And when I found out about that, I was like, bro, this is a whole new world. This is crazy, where people are literally buying 6 units, 7 units, 8 units, 20 unit apartment complexes without money out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
They're using lines of business credit for down payments on whether it might be hard money loans or any other type of real estate loans. They they use a credit to fund their rehab, increase the value of the house, right, or the property, and then refinancing it, right, getting cash back in a cash out refi, being able to pay themselves, pay back their credit cards, pay back all the loans, and they come up with a property with no money down for free. And I was like, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. So I dove into the business credit world, and man, long story short, I found out there's a lot of stuff that is a lot of information that isn't given or isn't readily available for a lot of our people, especially people who look like us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I start looking back of all the people who don't know this information, right? And I'm thinking, okay, who am I to be able to get all this information and not lift as I climb?
Exactly.
Who am I to get to the next level, start getting all these lines of credit without showing other people how to do the same, how to start their own businesses, right? How to improve their own credit to be able to get access to lines of bank business credit, right? Because a lot of people think it's impossible to get, but it's a lot easier than a lot of people think. So.
Okay, most definitely. So when you first figured out about business credit, you're in the whole real estate thing, like, dang, how do I do it for free? There's got to be a better way. How's your personal credit profile looking like at that time?
At that time, it was really untouched, man. It was funny because I went through a funding company early on in my journey. Before I knew anything really about credit, I ran into a guy who ran a funding company. He said, hey, this is what you can do. We can get you all these credit cards and you can use the credit cards for the real estate. And I said, okay, bet, say less.
Yeah.
So I went to him. He ran up my credit, most of them on my personal credit, right?
Yeah.
Probably only got $3,000 on the business credit side, right? And then on top of that, after that, I only got, I would say, probably about $50,000, right? And then I got left with all these inquiries on my credit report that I didn't know how to remove. So I got stuck with all these inquiries, and all these little limits on my personal not my personal is cool, but on the business side, I got no limits. So I'm thinking, how are people getting these $20,000, $25,000 limits?
Yeah.
Right. So I started studying about that, and I realized it's really about it's different getting your lines of business credit, bank business credit. When I'm in this term, I'm talking about PGing my business credit. PG, for anybody who doesn't know, that means you're personally guaranteeing the funds that you're getting. Meaning the funds that I get, if I blow it and I don't pay it back and it defaults, I'm liable for it, right?
Exactly.
I'm liable for it. So so I figured out that it's not the same way. I can get these $15,000-$20,000 of credit on my personal side, but business is a different beast. You got to get your business structure correctly. Okay. You got to make sure your personal credit is even structured even better. It's just a lot of different things, man. So going back to your question, I had a lot of inquiries. I had higher credit utilization, but I didn't have any trade lines. I didn't have a lot of age on my credit.
Mm.
So I went ahead, applied for, I went on my parents, I went on my mom and my grandmother's authorized user trade lines,
Yeah.
right? I added primary trade lines. My favorite, and everybody needs to go today to apply for these primary accounts that I'm about to tell you about.
Perfect. Let's get it.
It is Rental Karma,
Mm-hmm.
Rent Reporters,
Mm-hmm.
and Credit My Rent. Okay. So we all know that our biggest expense, our living expense, is a lot of times it's our rent, it's our housing expenses, right?
Yeah.
So what sense does it make that an expense that we have to make every month doesn't get reported to our credit report? It don't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. But guess what? If we don't pay it, guess what happens? It gets reported on the credit report. If we don't pay that, right?
Yeah. And you're gonna be in the streets.
Hey, you're gonna be in the streets, right? So the beauty about these accounts that I just mentioned is that these accounts will force report your on-time monthly rental payments to your credit report.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have online pay, or you have on-time payments added to your credit report. You add another account, and the best part about it is you could backdate your rental payment 2 years. So now you have 2 years of history of a new account that has 100% on-time payment, and you got 2 years history, and you got another primary account on your credit report. But it's a cheat code. It's literally a cheat code, right? So I added those 3 accounts, removed inquiries. I removed about 10 inquiries off my credit report.
Can you talk about that process?
Yeah. So removing inquiries it's a game changer, y'all. It's a game changer. We can talk about why it's a game changer a little bit later, but we all know there's 3 major credit reporting agencies, right? We got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. The easiest of the 3 is Experian. So if you have a inquiry on your credit report, right, and an inquiry is not attached to any open credit cards, you can get that removed. What you can do is pull your credit report, identify who gave you that inquiry, what date you got that inquiry, call Experian up on the phone, right? Get connected to the fraud department. We get connected to the fraud department. You want to make sure it's actually the fraud department. They might pass you on to like 3, 4, 5 different people, but you have to make sure you're talking to the fraud department. When you talk to the fraud department, you're going to tell them that, hey, I was looking at my credit report and I noticed that there's some unauthorized inquiries that I didn't say, or there's unauthorized inquiries on my credit report, right? They're going to ask you, okay, did you do them? You say no. It's fraud. I need them off my credit report. What they're going to do is they're going to ask you, did you send an FTC report, right? They're going to ask you to send a police report. Say yes. Even though you didn't send one in, you don't need to send one in. Just tell them that you already did. They're going to say, well, I'm looking at it, I don't see it. What you can tell them is that, well, look, that's not my problem. I sent it in about 2 weeks ago. So if y'all don't have y'all stuff together, that's your problem, right? But I know I sent it in. They said, okay, well, I'm gonna look into it. So they're gonna put you on pause, right? Put you on hold. I don't know what they do in the back, but then they come back and they say, yo, it's good. So we got these inquiries removed. They'll be off in your credit report in 30 days. Is there anything else I need for you? Go off and name every single inquiry on your Experian credit report. Every single one of them. And within 48 hours, all those Experian inquiries are going to be removed from your credit report. So that's definitely a play right there. TransUnion and Equifax is very similar too. So, but instead of going ahead straight calling Experian, for TransUnion, what you need to do is write a letter. You need to write a letter to TransUnion saying, hey, TransUnion, there's unauthorized inquiries on my credit report. Then you list out all the TransUnion inquiries. Make sure that these inquiries are not attached to any open credit cards. I can't stress that enough. They have to be unattached. Right? You named them all, right? Then what you want to do is you want to go to the FTC.gov. FTC.gov is the Fair Trade Commission website, right? And they're basically the government entity that protects consumers when it comes to fraud, identity theft, all of that. What you want to do is go ahead and create a report, right? And create a report, print it out. It doesn't get sent anywhere, but you just need to go ahead and print it out, right?
Yeah.
Then you need to package everything up, package everything. You're going to get your letter. You're going to get that FTC report, right? And then you're going to get your copy of your ID, a social security card, and a copy of your utility bill. Okay. And then I want you to put all that in the mail and send it out certified mail to TransUnion. All right. And I want you to do certified mail because TransUnion loves to play games and say that they didn't receive your mail. But if you send it certified mail, you're going to know that they receive it when it shows up, right? So you're going to keep track of that mail, make sure it shows up, call them up on the phone and say, hey, TransUnion, I sent in some mail not too long ago, and I need these unauthorized inquiries removed. They're going to say, okay, I'm going to look it up. They might say, hey, actually, I didn't receive it. And so, well, that's funny because I got this certified mail saying it showed up last Tuesday. So
paper trail.
Exactly, paper trail, man, paper trail for real. So they said, oh, okay, that let me talk to my manager real quick. So they're gonna talk to whoever in the back. They're gonna come back, and they said, okay, well, name off all the inquiries that you need removed, right? Then you go off and name everything off of TransUnion, all the TransUnion inquiries. Boom, easy. Now, finally, Equifax. Very similar to TransUnion, but instead of sending out certified mail, what you can do is actually fax Equifax. You fax Equifax. You could Google the number. I don't remember the number at the top of my head. So you fax them a copy of your ID, a copy of your social security card, a copy of your utility bill, a letter saying that these unauthorized inquiries are need to be removed. You name off all the Equifax inquiries and send out FTC report. You fax it to them. They should get it within about a week. You call them up on the phone and go through the same process. Look,
most definitely. And those of y'all listening, y'all have heard in previous episodes I said similar thing, and y'all got to remember. I know some of y'all be listening to the law. Identity theft when it comes to the law means no consent. So I know some people feel weird about FTC and all of that, but the law tells you identity theft means no consent. So yeah, definitely appreciate that. I wanted to
that's a game changer too, because look, that comes directly into getting, when people talk about they get $500,000 in lines of bank business credit, I guarantee you that they're running that play right there. They're running those plays to get those inquiries removed, y'all.
Exactly. So as far as business credit, I know you're the business credit guy. Do you prefer the whole PG thing, or do you prefer people like build up the net 30s and 90s and all that? Because to be honest, with my journey, as far as getting business funding, majority has been just PG. But then I came to terms with myself. I was like, you know what? Let me actually build out my business credit profile. So that's what I'm doing right now, just to be transparent. So I'm curious to see what you think about that.
Right. So there's two ways of having business credit, y'all. So there's a business credit where you build it off your EIN, which is strictly based on the strength of your business. And then there's PG in your business credit, right? And that is, like I said, PGing it, personally guaranteeing it. As in, if you get these funds, you don't pay it back, your personal credit is going to be hit, right?
Yeah.
One thing, honestly, I love PGing, man. PGing just because, one, you get larger limit. When it comes to bank business credit, you're going to get larger limits. And also on EIN, if you get the bank business credit based on your EIN, you're going to have to make a significant amount of income to be able to get these different credit cards without personally guaranteeing it, right? You're going to have to make, for some banks, it's going to be $2 million in revenue that you have to show, right? Now you have to show in tax returns in order to be able to get these lines of credit, right? So I always tell people, look, if you could bet on yourself, right? If you get bet on yourself, if your business is structured up properly, you have a right business plan, you know you have a plan for your money, look, go ahead and PG that funds. Go ahead and PG it. Because at the end of the day, even if you did use your EIN, you built, say you did the net 30s, net 60s, everything the sort. If you want to be able to get the large funding, right? Guess what? Yeah, you could have a strong business, but more times than not, they're still going to be looking at your personal credit. They might not going to be looking at it as heavily, but they're still going to be looking at it. So when people tell me, look, yo, I don't want to be able to, I don't want to worry about my personal credit. I just want to go straight to the business credit. And I said, okay, cool. But look, it's no matter what, it's going to have to go back to your personal credit. We have to look, people say, I tell people this, look, business credit is optional, right? But no matter what circumstance, getting your personal credit right is mandatory. It is a requirement. Look, there's too many resources out here. There's podcasts like this. There's free YouTube videos. There's credit repair companies out there who will literally fix your credit for you. You can learn how to fix your credit, but we can't avoid it. We can't avoid it, y'all.
Yeah.
So listen to podcasts like this, get your information down, fix your credit, y'all, because look, I guarantee you're not going to regret it. You're not going to regret it. It might take a year, might take a year and a half, but it's better to do that than start up with the net 30s, net 60s, net 90s, where you could, in a year from now, year and a half from now, you still may not be able to get the large limits that you want because your personal credit isn't right. So focus on your personal credit, y'all.
Most definitely. Do you teach people to do the net 30s, 90s and all that, or you just preach about like the PG?
I teach it. I have a few resources because it is still important to be able to build your business credit.
Yeah.
But that's not my forefront, because I tell people, look, use that as an asset, as a supplementary to your personal credit to be able to get the large funds. But no matter what, it's still good to build your business credit, right?
Okay, most definitely. Yeah, because I had someone on the podcast talking about building business credit, and she was more on the side of the net 30s and 90s. So it's interesting to see the other perspective. So I guess I want to lean more towards that. Can we talk about, this is a cat podcast, let's talk about the secrets on getting those high limit cars. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, let's talk about that, man.
Talk about it.
I know one thing I know you preach is really about the data points, right? It's really
Most
about
definitely.
the data points on your credit report. It's really, so we have to know it's not about your credit score. Look, we know that a lot of people think the higher the credit score, the better, right? That's really irrelevant, man. Because like I've said many times before, I know people who got 800 credit scores and still get denied American Express cards, right? Because it's not about the score, it's what's on our credit report. Because look, you can have a credit report where you could have let's see, you can have you have an authorized user trade line that's 20 years old from your grandmother. You got a let's see, you have a secure card that you've had for the last year, right? And you got student loans, right? At that, right, just right there, you might have a 760, 780, right?
Yeah.
But if you go, I guarantee you, if you go to the bank, say, look, I want to be able to give me this $30,000, $25,000 credit card, 0% interest, they're gonna look at you crazy, right? Why? Just think about it, like, why would they give you all this money when you can't even handle it yourself? There's no proof that you've been able to handle it yourself. You got a $300 secure credit that's attached to your name, and you got another credit card that's not even attached to your name, right? You're never going to be able to get credit based on credit that's not yours. Right? The banks are not going to do that. The lenders are not going to do that. You need to have some type of track record saying that, proving that you'll be able to handle this funding if they ever give it to you. Right? So that's why I tell people, look, build out your primary accounts. Right? You want to be able to have at least 10 primary accounts. Primary accounts of student loans. I want you to have at least 3 major bank credit cards. I'm not talking about Sears. I'm not talking about Target, Walmart. I'm talking about the Bank of America, the Chase, your credit union. Those are the ones that they like to see. Those are the ones that you need to have in your credit report. I want you to have at least 3, and I want you to have at least 2,500 credit limit. Maybe higher the better. I'm really 5,000, right?
What if they get like $1,000 limit? What should they do?
Man, look, that goes into MS spending, boy. Look, what you talking about? We got one old podcast about that.
They got multiple episodes on MS.
Look, y'all got multiple episodes.
I think they know what to do, low key. Well, yeah.
So all in short, if you got $1,000 credit card, what you can do is just max it out, pay it off, stretch those limits, right? You do that over a period of 6 months or so. The banks are going to be like, okay, look, this person is being able to use what he's been given. I could trust him with a little bit more. So you do that you ask for a credit line increase every 4 to 6 months from the banks. They're going to give you a credit line increase, especially if you use it heavily, right?
Yeah.
So build all those primary accounts, get those credit cards, those accounts of student loans, those rental accounts that I mentioned earlier, those count too. Make sure you have at least 10 of those. 100% on-time payment, no late payments, y'all. No derogatories, average credit age. You want to have an average credit age of preferably to be able to get max. You want to be around 4 to 5, right? 5 and up, you're gonna be able to get max, right? And then finally, your inquiries. We talked about how to remove inquiries.
We talk about that. Yeah.
Go run the play. We told you to play. Go run the play for each of those bureaus and get those inquiries off. And
what if their age is young? What if they got like only 1 year average age? What should they do?
Man, look, there a lot of people are going to tell you, okay, go get trade lines. They're going to tell you go get trade lines. However, that is not a replacement. That is not a replacement from getting your primary credit cards and letting them age out, y'all. That's why we tell people as early as possible, get your own primary unsecured credit card. Even if you got to start with secured, start with a Discover card. Discover is giving out a secured card right now where there's no annual fee. And you get 1% cash back. I don't know any other secured card where they actually do that, right? Yeah. No annual fee. You get 1% cash back, meaning whatever you spend on a card, they're gonna give you 1% of that. If you spend if you spend $1,000, they're gonna give you $10 for every $1,000 that you spend. Right? Did I do that math right? I think I did that right. Right. So get that secure card. Use manufacturer spend just the way that we talk about in the podcast, right? And get that, and what they're going to do, they're going to graduate that secured card to an unsecured card. They're going to do it. They're going to do it within 6 months, as long as you're using it consistently and paying it off, right? So definitely do that, y'all. Definitely do that. What were we talking about next?
We're basically talking about. I just want to know the secrets, the hacks to get those high limits. You feel me? So we're talking about the foundation as far as the data points. So
data points. Get those data points. Next, you want to be able to get your business set up right. This is by far extremely important.
Let's go on that. Yeah, most definitely.
Because this is the difference between getting 1,000 and getting 25,000. Right. First thing you want to do is you want to start an LLC, right? Start an LLC, and before you do anything, you want to make sure that the business that you're naming it is very general, right? You want to make sure it's general as hell. For me, my business is called Take Flight Solutions, right? We have to understand that these banks are very conservative. They're very conservative, meaning any type of red flag, any type of risk, any type of opportunity, or any time where they think that the business may make a lot of money and then lose a lot of money, they don't want any type of association with it. So we need to start building our LLCs as very general. I tell people, when I go to the bank, I tell them that I do business consulting. I do business consulting, even though I do credit repair, I do credit consulting, I do funding, everything of the sort. The banks hate that. They hate that because they see it as high risk, right? So if you go to the bank, sometimes they may deny you altogether, but if they do decide to approve you for some credit, you might only get 1,000, 2,000, but you can't do anything with that, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people build out your LLC, come up with a very general name, and then also there's something called the NAICS code. It's called the NAICS.
NAICS code. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the code that categorizes what industry your business is in, right? We have to make sure. I don't care if you do trucking. I don't care if you do credit repair, you do construction, real estate. I wouldn't tell the bank that you do that. You want to come up with a NAICS code that is very general for business consulting. I don't remember the top of my head, but y'all could Google that.
Just Google it. Yeah, y'all Google it. Come on.
Right. I can't give y'all everything. Just Google it. But business consulting, business administration, NAICS code. Use that code on all your applications. Right. So we got an LLC. We got our NAICS code. We got our safe business name. We want to make sure we have an EIN, right? We want to make sure we have an EIN. Another thing, we have to have a business address, y'all. We got to have a business address. And look, and some people say, hey, like I don't want to have a business official business address. I just got to use my home. Look, some banks might think that's okay, right? But I know personally that there are banks out there, there's credit cards that will deny you if you do not have a brick and mortar physical building for your office, right? For your business address, right? So for all the business owners out there who have online businesses, right? They're 100% online or that's home-based, right? What you can do is you can go to websites like Regus, regus.com. You can go to websites like Opus Virtual Office. These are companies that they will give you an opportunity to lease out the address that they have of a physical building. And you have the right to use that address on all your business credit applications. You have the right to put that on your LLC. You have a right to put that on your EIN, right? So now when you go to apply for business credit at the banks, or even if you go to use your net 30s, whatever, they're gonna, if they decide to Google it, which a lot of times they'll Google your address to see if you're a legitimate business, and they're gonna see, okay, this person isn't in the shack. It's a real address. He has a real office building. Look, we can trust him. Let me throw some money, right? Yeah. So you want to come off as legitimate as possible, right? So avoid PO boxes, avoid home addresses, and stick to those virtual addresses, y'all. Stick to those. A lot of people say the phone number. When you go for EIN business credit, that's really important. However, when it comes to bank business credit, a lot of times I don't look at that. But I would say go ahead, get it anyways in case you want to build your net 30s, net 60s, everything of the sort. You can get that from freedomvoice.com. You can go to grasshopper.com. They'll give you some office number or business numbers. Email address. You want to make sure that there's you actually have a professional email address, no more papichulo@gmail.com. So we want to be able to have a professional info at your business name.com, right? Yes. Goes a long way. And let's see, another thing that will help, it's not mandatory all the time when it comes to bank business credit, is have a website. Have a website that shows that you do business consulting. That's the key. Because this is the website that you're going to be showing the banks. This is not a website for your own clients to be able to make money. This is a facade that you're going to put up just in case the banker is going to ask, do you have a website? I'm going to go do research on you. You give them that website. Don't give them your credit repair website. Don't give them your trucking website. Don't give them your real estate website, because they're going to see that, you say you do business consulting, but your website says that you do credit repair. So what's going on? Then you get caught up in the lie and you're in trouble, right? Yeah. So go ahead and build a cheap website. It could be one page, landing page. You can get it off of a Google Workspace, where you can get your Google email, Wix. There's a lot of different websites out there, cheap websites. I would not pay any. Do not pay Don't go on Fiverr. Don't pay any web developer and pay anything more than $100 for it. Even
Oh, yeah,
$100
that's
is too
crazy.
much. Because look, there are people out there charging $3,000, $4,000 for a website.
Yeah.
But do not do that. Do not do that, y'all. Yeah, and that I think that wraps up everything. I think that wraps up.
Okay.
So now you got your credit right. You got your business structured correctly.
Yeah.
Now you're ready to go to the banks.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're ready to go to the banks. I would choose your credit unions. I would use the banks that you already have relationships with.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if you already have a personal account with Chase, you've been banking with Chase ever since you've been 18, 16 years old, I would start there. Start there because you already have a relationship with them. These banks are going to give you credit limits based on the strength of your strength of the relationship. So if they see that you've been with them on their personal side for 10 years, they're gonna be like, okay, thanks for giving us money. Thanks for giving us money in the past. We could throw you a little sum. We could throw you a little sum. So go to Chase. Go, my favorite, the US Bank.
Talk about US Bank.
US Bank gave me, so they have two options of 0% interest business credit cards.
Can you elaborate on that 0% just for anybody that may not know?
Yeah. 0% interest. That's the beauty about business credit cards, y'all. There's so many banks out there that give out these 0% interest business credit cards. And with this, a lot of times they're going to give you a length of time, say, like, for example, the US Bank Business Platinum card, they're going to give you 12 months, 0% interest, meaning you do not have to pay any interest on what you borrow from that card for 12 months. Say I got a $10,000 card from US Bank and the 0% interest for 12 months, max it out $10,000. That means I only have to pay the minimum amount. And the minimum amount is anywhere between 1 to 5% of what you borrow. A lot of times it's 2%. Right. So for a $10,000, 2%, what is that?
It's gonna be $200.
$200. Can you afford $200 for your business? I mean, some people can, some people can't. But if you can, you probably don't want to be doing this. But it's a lot better paying $200 than if your interest rate was on a regular card would be like 19%, 20%, and your minimum payment is going to be stupid. Right. So that's the beauty about 0% interest cards. And the dope thing about it is if you have a business, you have some type of venture that you want to get into, you could use that $10,000 by manufacturer spending, liquidating those cards. You could use those funds to invest in a business. If you want to start Airbnbs cost less than $10,000 to start up, right? You can furnish your whole Airbnb on that one card. There's people out there who are buying cars, whole cars for under $10,000, right? 0% interest. They take that car, put that on Turo, right? And the car is able to generate hundreds of dollars, man, depending on what car you get. But it's more than enough to be able to pay back the minimum amount, right? And then you're gonna be able to earn some cash at the same time.
Exactly.
Come on, y'all. Look, the 0% interest game is something different. So that's why I tell people, look, if you're going to get your personal credit right, get your business credit right, or your business structured properly, go to these banks and get this 0% interest because they're literally giving out free money, y'all.
So you like US Bank, basically?
I love US Bank, man. They got two different ones. They got the, like I said, the business platinum one, I think it's 12 months. I think it's 12 or 18 months, 0% interest. They got another one that is the business platinum is 12 months. The other one they got is 18 months, 0% interest. Man, they give out the bag. My business was only about a few months old. I went to them. They gave me $25,000 right off the bat. All right. They pulled.
That's a credit card, right?
Huh?
And that's a credit card.
Business credit
card.
We're
not even talking about lines of credit.
I'm not even talking about lines of credit. I'm talking about a business credit card. Right. Yeah. They PG'd me. So I had a hard inquiry, but guess what? We know how to remove hard inquiries, right? So I went ahead and removed that. And guess what? I went to the next bank, opened up a bank account, deposited money in it, right? Let it sit. for 30 days, right? Month or so, went back and applied, right? And they're gonna, when I do apply for the credit card, they're gonna see all the money that's in the account. So they're gonna see, because I try to put in about $4,000 or $5,000 every time I put it. And that's really low level stuff. But one thing I've realized is that a lot of these banks, they're going to give you at least what you've already put in there, right? When you apply for a credit card, it's called a 50-50 rule, right? I won't say it's a rule, it's a rule of thumb, where if you deposit $5,000 in it and you come back later to apply for a business credit card, they're going to at least give you $5,000 credit limit, if not double that. So I tell people, look, build a relationship with these banks, open up these bank accounts, throw some money in there, show some love to them, let them use that money to invest in whatever they need to invest in. So when you go back to them and ask for funding for them, they're gonna be like, okay, that's a no-brainer. You scratch my back, I'm gonna scratch yours, right? So that's huge. U.S. Bank, Chase is big, Bank of America, these credit unions, y'all. But even if you don't want to go to the Chases or the big boys, go to the credit unions. The credit unions are giving out the bag, y'all.
Yeah.
Credit
What about Wells Fargo?
Oh, and the Wells Fargo, man. The Wells Fargo. Let me tell you about the Wells Fargo, man.
All right, go ahead.
Maybe I should save it. Should I save it?
Hey, man, just go ahead. Go ahead,
oh,
man.
Look, I feel like I just keep going on and on. So Wells Fargo, they got to play, man. It is not talked about often, right? It's not talked about often, but I can confirm that it's actual fact. It's happened to me. I searched on YouTube. There are a few other people who've had the same experience, right? But Wells Fargo is giving out the bag with no hard inquiry, y'all. By that, I mean, I went over there to Wells Fargo probably about 2 or 3 months ago in person, opened up both a business checking and a business savings account, right? And as I applied to open it, they put a soft pull on my credit, right? Because on the application it asked for my social, so I went ahead and gave it. What they're going to do is a soft pull, look at my credit report, and as long as your personal credit is set up right, the way that we talked about it before, as long as your business is structured properly, and this is a new experience for you at Wells Fargo, or if you already have a long experience with Wells Fargo on the personal side, what they'll do is give you a soft pull pre-approval, right, for a business credit card. And it's a soft pull, right? So I remember him telling me about it, and I'm thinking, okay, cool, a soft pull, whatever. Yeah, I mean, and for me, I'm always going to get the credit card regardless whether it's a hard pull or not. So he asked me about it. He said, yeah, go ahead, because I know how to remove inquiries, right?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and accepted it. And he said, okay, man, you were approved. And I said, did they give me a hard inquiry? He said, no, there's no hard inquiry. I said, what? No hard inquiry? And I said, and I got $15,000, 0% interest. And I said, no, this can't be right. Right. And he said, no, man, there's no hard inquiry. And I looked at my credit report, no hard inquiry. Because I usually get alerts when there's a hard inquiry or my credit gets pulled. Nothing popped up. So they literally gave me $15,000, 0% interest. And on top of that, I didn't even have to deposit any money into those accounts.
Wow.
I think I deposited probably like $50 just to keep it open.
Wow. Y'all take notes.
Look, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, this Wells Fargo plays something different. So let me break it down for y'all. So what y'all need to do is go to Wells Fargo in person. Do not do it online. Go to Wells Fargo in person, right? Set an appointment, right? Talk to the banker. Open up both a business checking and a business savings account. This works best for people who already don't have a business account with Wells Fargo. This works for people also who have a long experience or a long relationship with Wells Fargo on the personal side, right? So you want to open up both a business checking and a business savings account. Write down your social security on the application to open up those accounts, right? They're going to pull your credit. You're going to know right away if you're pre-approved or not, right? If you don't get pre-approved, that means your business isn't set up right. your credit report or your credit isn't where it needs to be. Even if you have a strong credit report, you still may not get it if it's not at the data points that they're looking for, right? Or they just don't like you, right? But yeah, go ahead and do that. They're gonna pre-approve you. Go and accept the card, and man, just run the play, run with the bag, man.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
you can use that $15,000 for whatever you need to, y'all. This is a perfect opportunity for people who have aspirations to start a new business, right? But lack the funds, right? We got capital now, y'all. We got capital. But I want to stress this, y'all. I talk about using your funding. We have to know that this is not just free money. This is money that we use as leverage to start something up, earn an income, and then pay it back, right? Because I don't want people to think, oh, just Wells Fargo's giving out all this stuff. We know how to pay it back. No, we got to pay it back, y'all.
Yeah, most definitely. Did you take multiple LLCs over there, or just one, or how was the whole process?
Man.
We talk about the beauty of business credit, or just taking multiple LLCs?
Oh yeah, man. That's the beauty thing about business credit too, man. Because with these LLC, you got an LLC one. Say I went to US Bank, I got that $25,000, right? Remove that hard inquiry. What I could do is actually open up another bank account with another LLC, right? Because I can create as many LLCs as I want, right? I create another LLC and I can go back to US Bank, open up another bank account and apply for the same credit card all over again. Because guess what? It's not attached to my personal, it's attached to my business. So I got two LLCs, I got two business credit cards, right? So now I can use the other LLC to apply for that same credit card. I may not be able to get the full $25,000 like I did before, but I know I could at least get something out of it, right? Yeah. Especially if you run that 50-50 play, if you deposit some money when you open up that bank account, you can get at least $5,000 from them, right? It's 0% interest. So now I got $25,000 over here. I got another $5,000 over here. You got $30,000, right? And on top of that, we know how to remove inquiries. Yep. So now I apply for the first one, remove the inquiry, got the second one, remove the hard inquiry again. Now I can go to another bank if I really wanted to. I can go to another bank that pulls TransUnion because US Bank pulls TransUnion. So I'm trying to think of a bank that pulls TransUnion.
Navy Federal does sometimes.
There you go, Navy Federal. I don't know if they pull on the business side, but say you go to US Bank, get all these hard inquiries, you remove those hard inquiries, go to Navy Federal, open up a business bank account, apply for their business credit card. They're not going to see those hard inquiries from US Bank because you removed them already. Yeah. So now they're going to give you more money because they see that those hard inquiries aren't there. And it's a game changer, y'all. Know how to create your LLCs, fix your credit, and know how to remove inquiries. Game changer.
And then you just got the sauce. So some people might be listening like, damn, I could get business credit. I could take out the inquiry. Why would I ever go back to personal? So let's say they structured all their data points. They got their three primary credit card accounts. They at least $2,500 limits, and they ready to get approvals for business credit. Would you recommend them ever getting new personal cards because it'll drive the age down, or just focus solely on business credit?
I would say if your credit limits are at $2,500, you need to get those increased. So run those MS plays and let them age out, because at the end of the day, your business credit approvals are going to be based on your age, right? And those credit limits that you already have. So 2,500, 5,000 is a good starting place, but you really want to be able to get to the $25,000, $20,000 personal credit limits, right? Now the business credit world are going to see, oh, you got those limits over there. Okay, you can handle your personal. You can definitely handle the business. So definitely increase those. But if you have 5 to 10 personal credit cards already, they all got large limits. And you're strictly only going for business credit cards, I don't see a reason to ever get a personal card ever again.
I feel
The only thing I could think of is what I'm doing right now is I'm running the Turo play, right? Okay. So although I do have 800 plus credit score, we all know it's not about your score, it's about the data points. I never financed a car in my name before. I never financed a car in my name. So
I see what you're doing.
you know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to, for the Turo play, I wanted to be able to finance a car, in a high or luxury car, a car that's gonna make a lot of money, and put it on Turo platform, so gonna make me some money. But the way it works is a lot of these lenders, they're not gonna give you an auto loan if you don't have any type of history of auto loans on your credit report.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if you got an 800 credit score, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's about the data points, right? So it's best to build up your personal credit by, I would say, get an auto loan. And that's what I'm building up my personal credit on the auto trade lines, right? So now down the road, I'll be able to get the high-end luxury cars, right? So I can build up to get the luxury cars.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like Michael over here, man. He got all the whips. Well, look,
chill.
I'm trying to be like this man when I grow up.
chill.
But yeah, man, I think that's the only reason why you should be able to go back and touch your personal after you already built out your personal credit, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, got you. So basically the sauce, the finesse is to first, let's structure our personal credit. Let's get our personal credit right. Let's structure our business right. And then we go get that business funding, and then we just recycle multiple LLCs, however we want to do it, right? That's the sauce.
And make relationships with as many banks and credit unions as possible.
Okay.
Even if you gotta travel to different states to open up accounts with them, start relationships with them, do what you got to do. I plan on taking a trip next month to go out to the East Coast to open up some accounts with them, because look, East Coast, they're throwing the bag. They're throwing the bag like Key Bank, BB&T, PenFed.
Key Bank, crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know some people who got hella bank from Key Bank. So plan on going out there, start relationships, and hopefully I get some lines from them in the near future.
Okay, perfect. I like that you mentioned that, because some people get confused at this. So you're in California right now, but you're talking about going to the East Coast to build relationships. Can we talk about that? Because some people might be like, "Oh, I don't live there, so I can't get funding." You feel me?
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about that.
So I have an LLC in California, right? California LLC. If I want to be able to open up a bank account, say in Pennsylvania and Philly, how it works, I can't just go ahead and use my LLC, California LLC, to open up a business bank account in Pennsylvania. So what I have to do is file for a foreign entity, right? So what I do is go to the Secretary of State of Pennsylvania and file for a foreign entity paperwork, file foreign entity paperwork. And now once I go through that, I now have the right to do work in Pennsylvania. So now I could travel over to Pennsylvania with my LLC, California LLC paperwork, right? EIN, operating agreement, all of that. And I make sure I have my foreign entity paperwork. And I go to the bank and they say, "Hey, I'm allowed to do work here. Let me open up a bank account," right? Yeah. So that's the key, right? Start relationships with the East Coast, because there's a lot of banks on the East Coast that are regional. And the same thing over here. There's banks out there regional where they're not going to be in California, right? Because there's no, and then let me know if there's wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any key banks on the West Coast.
There's one in Washington.
No, there isn't Washington. Yeah, okay, they're not in California.
They're not in California. There's definitely not one in California.
Yeah, there's no PenFed. There's another credit union that I heard is giving out the bag. There's no BB&T. There's no SunTrust. Those banks are East Coast, Southern based. But look, they can't have all the fun, right? Yeah. So I'm setting up foreign entities in, well, I don't want to open up as many as possible. Find a state that has all the credit unions, banks that you're interested in, right? Create that foreign entity, travel over there, because a lot of these banks, they don't allow you to open up these accounts over online. You actually got to go in person to open them up. Fly over there, build relationships, open up an account, throw some money in there, and then come back down the road and apply for some funding.
Okay. So let's say I don't know nothing about credit. I don't know nothing about these banks. I'm just listening to the interview right now. I'm hearing all this BB&T Key Bank and all of that. How do you even figure out the banks that you want to go and get business credit with?
Yeah, man. Look, I got a website right now. I'm gonna tell you, I can't remember the top of my head, but I'm gonna pull it up. Is a
Okay.
guide that I love using to look up different types of credit cards, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be 0% interest credit cards, cash back. It's called US Credit Card Guide.
Mm,
Major gem right there.
mm,
USCreditCardGuide.com.
mm-hmm.
You're gonna know all the top credit card. What is the new credit cards? What are the travel benefits? What are the new rewards? Um, Major hack. I do a lot of my research on there.
Mm,
And then also there's other websites, just a simple Google search
mm,
saying 0% interest business credit cards of 2022, right?
mm-hmm.
Or you could type in credit unions that offer 0% interest business credit cards,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you want to be able to build relationships with all the ones that are in your area, right?
Exactly.
I got another resource here. See if I can
You got
find
some
it.
more? You got some more? Let us know.
Yeah, man. Look. But that's the big one, uscreditcardguide.com.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't find it right now, but I'm gonna let you know. So you definitely tell your community about this because
Okay, most
bank
definitely.
it's called bankbranchlocator.com.
Oh, I know. That's some sauce.
Yeah,
Definitely.
bankbranchlocator.com.
It's
Major
like a
hack,
high level view of everything.
bro. Yeah,
That one's
that's a
different.
game changer right
Yeah,
there.
that one's different.
So do your research, man, because they're out there. It's out
Mm,
there, right?
mm.
And the people who aren't willing to do a little research are the ones who are just not going to be able to get the funding,
Exactly. Exactly. Can you talk about some of your favorite credit cards? I'm assuming that your business funding, because business funding is kind of vague. So I'm assuming is it mostly credit cards versus lines of
It's
credit?
mostly credit. It's all
Mostly
credit
credit.
cards.
It's
Yeah,
all
all
credit
credit
cards.
cards.
Okay.
All credit cards.
Okay.
My favorite is the U.S. Bank, man, just because I'm biased because they showed me love in the very
Okay.
beginning. But I was scared to even walk into in the bank to ask for some money. They threw me $25,000 right off the bat.
Yeah.
U.S. Bank Chase is another good one
Okay.
because so a lot of people think you can't. Well, they got the 524 rule, right? For the
On
people who
personal.
don't on the personal, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think the 524 rule applies to the business side.
Mm-hmm.
I For the people who don't know what a 524 rule is, meaning they have a rule set up in place, meaning you can't if you already have 5 credit cards on your credit report within the last 24 months, you're gonna automatically get denied from Chase, right? So but the business credit side is a little bit different, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can't confirm whether they'll deny you if you apply online, but
Mm-hmm.
if you go in person and apply for their business credit card, they're not going to see that.
Mm.
Or they may see it, but they're not going to limit you to that 524 rule,
Mm-hmm.
right? So go ahead and go to Chase, man, because they thrown out the bag. They got 2 0% interest business credit cards, and on top of that, they got major credit cards for travel. I
Wow.
love traveling, man.
Yeah.
Right? They
Yeah.
got 0% interest card that also gives you cash back.
Mm-hmm.
The business cash card.
Mm-hmm.
Look, that's even better than the U.S. Bank one because the U.S. Bank credit card isn't giving me any cash back. They're not giving me any reward. They're just giving me 0% interest.
Mm-hmm.
But this Chase card, they're giving me 0% interest and 2% cash back on everything that I purchase.
Mm.
Game changer, y'all.
Mm.
And we already know the importance of getting these cash back cards.
Yeah.
So run the bag up with these
That's
MS
what I'm
plays,
saying.
yo, man. Look, and then so the MS plays go crazy, but what was I saying before I get sidetracked with other stuff?
The business credit cards.
Yeah, U.S. Bank, Chase. This is not a funding card that I have, but the Bank of it or the American Express Platinum card.
Oh yeah.
The American Express Platinum card, I get it. It's about $600 a year.
Mm-hmm.
but one of my most valuable cards, yo. Because I don't know about you, but I hate being a regular. Could I cuss on here? No.
Go ahead, man.
I hate being a regular nigga at the airport. You feel me? Look, I like coming in feeling like I'm that nigga, right? So
Yeah.
too many times I've been at the airport stuck, like scrunched together, sitting
Yeah.
in these hard chairs, waiting for my plane,
Yeah.
not being able to find food,
Mm-hmm.
bored, uncomfortable if I'm sleepy. I
Mm-hmm.
can't. You ever try to fall asleep in one of them little terminal chairs?
Hey,
They're like
man.
this and they're hella hard.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't
Hey, we
lay out
we
or
can't we
nothing.
can't relate no more. We in the lounge, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But with this American Express Platinum card, you now have access to the exclusive luxury airline lounges, yo.
Mm-hmm.
The American Express, why am I forgetting the name of it? What's the lounge called?
Centurion.
Centurion Lounge.
Yeah.
These are the lounges where you be able to go in. They got buffets.
Mm-hmm.
They got mimosas on deck.
All
They
day.
got bars. You get free alcohol. Well, I'll say included alcohol. I'm not gonna say free. It's included alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
included food, included chairs where you can extend your feet, extend your legs. You could, if you really wanted to, you could take a nap. There's no more fighting over electrical outlets.
Oh man.
There's no more having to walk 5 miles to the other side of the airport to be able to find an outlet. There's outlets everywhere now.
Yeah.
I'm bougie now. I'm bougie now. I can't go back to a regular person traveling.
That's what I'm saying.
I only fly using my American Express now. And
That's
on
what I'm
top of
saying.
that, they have a bonus. I don't know where it is right now, but if you spend, I can't remember. It's been a while, but I think is you have to spend a certain amount of money within the first 3 months, and they'll give you $100,000 membership reward points.
Mm-hmm.
These membership reward points can be cashed in to be able to get your flights,
Yeah.
right? So now I haven't paid for a full flight in over a year, 2 years, and I've been all around the country,
Mm.
right? Right. So that's why I love the American Express, man, because they give out so many opportunities for people to fly for free, fly in luxury. And if you know how to MS, look,
Yeah, you
it's
good. You good to
endless.
go. You good
Yeah.
to go. And then on top of that too, I want to mention with the 100,000 points, if some people don't know, just for measure, that's about $1,000 in actual cash. So when we talk about a $600 annual fee, when you know how to MS, you got to play to basically pay yourself $400. So it's like
Dang,
you getting paid to get the card. You know what I'm saying?
dang, bro. This is the magic, man. This is
Yeah,
the magic, bro. Look, tap into this podcast, bro. He's dropping all the
definitely.
game, bro.
Hey man, no,
Never
hey,
pay
it's
for a
about
flight.
you. Yeah,
Huh?
definitely. I say it's about you dropping the gems. So go ahead.
Hey, but look, no, for real, for real. Look, I'm trying to tell you, if you know how to MS, you know how to do all this, you do not need to pay for a flight again, man.
Yep.
Unless you want to go a different route, go to a different airline or do something special, you do not need to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we transition into like the closing questions, I just want to ask, let's say someone, they listen to the whole podcast, they hear like, okay, I got to do my personal, I got to do business structure and everything. What's maybe the number one thing you would say they should execute as a result of listening to the podcast? Like what do they have to do literally right as we end the episode?
Start a business, credit LLC.
Okay.
Credit LLC. Credit LLC, because whether your personal credit right is good right now or not, the older age your business, the better. Right? The older age the business, the better. When you go to these banks, start an LLC and then get a bank account immediately.
Okay.
Whether you have a business idea or not, start right away. Because when you do get your personal credit right, you can go to the banks and they're going to see, oh, this person has had this business for 2, 3, 4 years already. Trust him a little bit more. He's a little bit more established. I'm gonna give him a little bit more money, right? I'm gonna give him a little more money based on that. Of course, they're still going to be heavily looking at your personal credit, but they're going to give you a little bit more leeway because you got an older business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually banks out there, they won't even allow you to apply for a credit card unless your business is 2 years old, right? So let your business age. Give it a head start by starting now. Open it up, let it age. So when you are ready to apply for the business credit cards, you're already in position, man. Start it right away.
Okay, so I know people are thinking like, okay, my business has to be at least 2 years old. You spoke about, you had a business that was only a few months old and you got funding. Can we talk about like the finesse around getting around that 2 years? Maybe age corporations, touch on that as well.
Yeah. So, man, how did I forget, man? So I meant to on the Wells Fargo play.
Okay.
The Wells Fargo play, I forgot to mention. Your business should be 2 years old.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I forgot to mention your business should be 2 years old. And for me, I actually had an aged corp. I had an aged corp that was aged 20 years.
Okay.
But it does not need to be 20 years old. I have a friend who has a business it was literally only 2 years old, and she went ahead and got approved for the same $15,000 no hard inquiry. So I would say make sure that your business is at least 2 years old. But yeah, there's people out there who sell aged corps, right? So they take over LLC's businesses that were initially originated hella long ago, right? So for me, I bought one that was originated in 2002, right? So I bought the rights to be able to own that, right? It was filed and re-registered in Colorado in my name, right? So all I had to do was get a new virtual address. I think I kept the same name, and now that business, the LLC, well, I'm the owner of that business, right? So now I can go to the banks, or I can go to a Wells Fargo, and they see, oh, this business is 20 years old. Now I'm going to put the bank is going to put 20 years old into their automatic underwriting system, and it's going to shoot an output. And a lot of times, the age of your business plays into a part how much you're going to be able to get funding, right? So age corp, it is a hack. However, it is not a replacement for building your business credit. If you want to go to business credit rights on your based solely on your EIN, you would still need to build out your LLC. And I'm not the specialist to talk about that because I haven't done it myself, but I know there are people out there who buy these aged corps and have them built out, so they already have long ages of business credit solely based on their EIN already.
Okay.
And that's how I found out that there's people out there who are using stuff like that to be able to get exotic cars. Like I just heard about a podcast the other day about this girl. She got a Rolls Royce. She got a Rolls Royce because she got a 20-year-old aged corp. And I was already built out, and she did not have. There was no PG, no PG at all. So that's the power of age corp that's already built out.
Definitely. Okay, let's touch on that age corp. So I'm just kind of curious. So you got one that was 20 years old. You go into the bank. You're young. Are they thinking like what? Yeah. Like what's going on over here? Is it his parents or business? Like how did that go?
And I knew they was gonna ask about that. I said it was just passed down from my parents. That's all.
Okay. So you already had that ready.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I got I tell them that it's passed down. What else? Yeah, because I told them my family's been in the business forever. However, I've come of age and they decided to pass it on to me.
Okay, most definitely. And they didn't give you any drawback on that?
They don't care, man. They just trying to there are a lot of these bankers, they're paper pushers. Yeah. They really don't give them as much respect as a lot of people give them too much respect. As in a lot of them, they don't know anything about bank business credit or anything. I remember I went in there and I asked them one time, it's like, yo, do what I say? which credit bureau does it pull from? I think I went to Chase, and they said, oh, just to ask to see if they knew. They said, oh, all of them. And I said, what? And I said, oh, this is all. He said, oh, yeah, they pulled for all three. Then she said, he said, are you sure? So I think, oh, hold on, let me call somebody right now.
Oh man.
And they said, oh, I think it's Experian. I said, oh, okay. And then I remember asking another person with Wells Fargo about, oh, does your secured card report to Dun and Bradstreet? And they said, what is that?
Oh man.
And I said, wow, okay. So I realized these bankers, the ones that you see at the branches, they know how to do their job. And they know how to paper push. They know how to answer the frequently asked questions. And that's it. Because at the end of the day, they're not even the ones who decide whether you get approved or not.
Yeah, that's the underwriters.
It's the underwriter, right? So they just out here doing their job, and that's all they care about.
No, and I most definitely agree. I had a similar experience as well. So
tell me about that.
Y'all listening to the Cap podcast, man. Y'all know more than these banks, right? I had someone trying to tell me that Key Bank was a hard inquiry, but it's a soft inquiry on your Equifax, basically. So I just kept asking just to see what they knew, and they didn't know. So I definitely agree with what you saying. That's a fact. They don't be knowing.
They really don't
really
be intimidated by them, bro, because they really don't know, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's always hilarious because you can even go in them and talk around them, and they're trained to act like they know everything. They're like the geniuses and stuff like that. But listen to podcasts like this, doing your own research, doing a simple research as in even knowing the business credit bureaus, you automatically know more than what they know.
Oh yeah, bro didn't know what Dun and Bradstreet. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, he said, "What is that?"
Right.
he said, no. He said, "I do." No, and I had another lady. She said, "There's no such thing as business credit bureaus. They got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion." And at that point, I was like, I'm not gonna argue with her, bro. I said, okay, for sure, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I still want to stay on the age corp. So the 20 years that you got, how did you go about that process? Like, how do you make sure you don't get finessed? Because I've been hearing about some people that they might get finessed. Maybe the business had taxes or something. Like, how do you go about that process?
A person I got it from was actually my mentor, and I'll probably advise somebody to like do research. But I think I was early on in the game, and I trusted him, and he was selling them, and he never let me down. So I went ahead and go in and bought him. So I'm probably not the right person to ask about that. But I'll say definitely do your research. It didn't come with any tax returns. It didn't come with anything. It just came with the articles of organization. I had to go apply for a new EIN. It didn't come with the EIN. I had to get a new address. And everything on their side was just transferred over to my name. So everything I couldn't tell you much about it. I just know it worked for me. It got me that $15,000, 0% interest. And now I'm going to be traveling the East Coast and running that play.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely. If anything, make sure you build connections, get with a mentor. Maybe the mentor can help you as far as that goes. Do your due diligence, do your research.
And if I come across a connect again who's selling them, especially if they're built out, then y'all the first people I'm going to let know.
Okay, most definitely appreciate that. Before we actually transition into like the final quick round and final questions, where do you see yourself in, like, let's say 5 years?
5 years. I want to be able to grow this business.
So you want?
I will grow this business.
I bet.
There you go. Thank you. I will grow this business to a point where this is not. A lot of my business is online right now. The people who know me are my followers in my media community. It's a shame that I'm so active on social media. People know me from across the country, but my backyard doesn't even know what I do. Right. So my goal is I will be speaking at events, speaking at schools, speaking at specific Black empowerment conferences, events, to teach people about this pathway to getting funding.
Dope.
pathways to building their credit, because there's so many times where we're left out of stuff like this and the information is not readily available. So I'm showing people that it is possible. So I'm going to be able to grow to that point. I'm not going to work in the business. I'm going to where my focus is removing myself, building up my team to be able to handle everything on their own, right? And I will be developing property on specifically in the South in developing affordable housing. That's my ultimate goal.
Oh, dope. Okay, I respect that. All right, so we're gonna go through a quick lightning round, the cat lightning round, whatever you want to call it.
Let's go. I'm nervous.
Hey man, it's gonna be 4 quick questions. You know, no, we're not even recording right now. We're just having a conversation. So just answer it. And then you ready?
Yep.
All right, so number 1, what do you do for fun when you're not, doing what you're doing with business credit?
I love working out, going to the
Okay.
gym. I'm eating good food. Matter of fact, no, let me be more specific. Beyond the never-ending journey to find the best chicken burrito.
Okay. Why don't you make it?
Man, look, I'm not Julio, who can make it a lot better than me. Julio Marie can probably make it a lot better than me.
All right, bet. All right, bet. All right, what's your favorite credit resource and why? You gave us a few. It could be a podcast, it could be a book, it could be those resources to know about business banks, things like that.
I love NerdWallet. I love
Okay.
nerdwallet.com. I love US Credit Card Guide.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Those are probably the main ones I like.
Cat podcast. Okay. All right, got you.
Okay, of course, Cat podcast. That's a given. That's a given, though. You feel me? Look.
Okay. Great resource. NerdWallet's official too. All right. So you said working out is good. I think that's one of those good habits that allows you to do good in different avenues in your life. I want to ask, what habit can you attribute to your success that you've had with credit, business credit, etc.?
Focus.
Okay.
Knowing what my purpose was. As I said in the beginning, my purpose was to be able to get large limits of business credit, right? Specifically to invest in businesses, right? And there are so many different flashy objects and ways to make money and things that can be seen as opportunities, but in reality are really distractions, right? Because if I saw things early on, like, I don't know, let me think, like Forex over here, trading options over here, or early on doing an Airbnb, I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have my credit repair business. I wouldn't be able to have the funding that I have. Wouldn't be able to invest in real estate the way I am. Because I would have been all over the place, or I would have spread myself too thin. So I highly suggest people that there's a power of one. Focus on one thing until you'll be able to grow to have a sustain. Then you'll be able to go on different things, because we have only a limited time. We only have a limited resources. We can't spread those resources so thinly, right?
Most definitely. Okay, I like that. And you mentioned credit repair business. So do you help people with their credit, like you do for them as far as the personal side?
So I do credit restoration, credit repair, and credit restoration. So I help entrepreneurs and everyday people remove negative items from their credit report, and I also help them restore it. I help build credit builder accounts, give them access to aged trade lines, 20+ year trade lines. I give them credit education. I also help people with the transition to be able to get to the business credit, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here about, right? We're trying to get to the business credit side. Getting your personal credit right is cute and it is mandatory, but to be able to get to the real bag, the bag where it is the usage is not going to report to your personal credit, the business credit is the way to go, y'all. and it's a repeatable process. It's a repeatable process. So although everybody isn't meant to own or meant to be an entrepreneur, as a lot of people say, everybody needs to own something, right?
Yeah.
Everybody needs to own something. And if you want to own a business, this is a great way to be able to invest in the business, to be able to use other people's money to be able to invest.
Okay, most definitely. So you said you help entrepreneurs and everyday people. Is that what you said?
So I help or let me rephrase. I help entrepreneurs, everyday entrepreneurs, be able to get to the bag using leveraging their personal credit.
Okay, everyday entrepreneurs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have your IG here. It says I help Black entrepreneurs. So majority of people listening to the Cap podcast are Black, but do you not help people that are not
Black? Black entrepreneurs. Let's talk about that. We're talking about
Black. Let's get it.
Yeah. Black entrepreneurs, because there's so many times where we're so left out of opportunities, right? Because we're not given the opportunities. We're not given this information. So platforms like this is great for our community, especially for the Black community. So
most definitely. Okay. The last question of the quick round, probably the most important one. If you could change one thing about the Black community when it comes to credit, business credit, what would it be and why?
Well, let's talk about why we don't have access to all these credit to begin with. It's because it's in the household, right? Let's talk about growing up. There should be no reason why we don't even know about credit until it's too late. Yeah. Until we can't get it approved for a mortgage, we can't get approved for our first apartment, we can't get our credit card. Right, our first credit card. We should be talking about that early on. We should be talking about what credit is at a young age. We can't have the talk of money, finances be a taboo topic or not talked about at all, right? Yeah, we should be teaching them instead of telling our kids, "Oh, you don't worry about it, let the adults handle it." Bring them with you to different meetings. My dad used to do that with me. He used to bring me to real estate meetings, right? He used to bring me to the bank. Even though I didn't understand what was going on, I mean, it was just being that environment, being exposed at a young age. You know that there are Black people doing stuff like this. You know, so it's all about exposure. Start early. Teach these kids. Buy them books. There's so many educational resources out there.
Most definitely. Okay, before we get on to the last question, I just want to, open it up. Is there a question that people do not ask you that you would want to talk about while we have this platform on right now?
Oh, man. And this entrepreneurship. I think if you decide to go into entrepreneurship, you can start your own businesses, right? Know that it's a hard route, man. It's hard, but anything worth having is not going to be easy, right? And I think, and people say all the time, being able to be successful is about 80% mental. You have to have self-confidence in this. It's literally an everyday battle. Everyday battle with yourself, making sure that you're better than you were yesterday. And don't expect that there's going to be people who are going to support you right away. One thing I knew from shout out to Nehemiah Davis. He said that, look, people are not going to support you until they start seeing shit happen.
Yeah, that's a fact. Shout out Neil.
Right. Yeah. So look, if nobody else is going to support you, better support yourself. Right. And just keep grinding and keep focused. You just keep going. Like, for example, we're both big on the social media marketing. When I first started, I wasn't getting any likes. I wasn't getting likes, a lot of engagement, but we have to have faith that we keep going and going and going. It's going. There's engagement is going to be there. The brand is going to be strengthened. We just have to keep going, knowing that we can't stop. The moment we stop is the moment we fail. We got to keep going, y'all, because look, there's always somebody watching. There's always somebody watching. Building, and that goes into building your brand. That's a whole nother episode that we can talk about.
Yeah. We're gonna run a part 2 as well. But yeah, so final question. You gave a lot of gems, a lot of crystals, all that. You know, they're gonna be making their favorite jewelry with all the crystals you done gave. You feel me? I hope some people run the Wells Fargo play. I hope some people run all these plays that you gave. But can you give the people a final credit crystal for us to walk away with for today's episode?
Man, a credit crystal, man. I think I want to say I gave out everything, man.
Hey, man, if you want to reemphasize, some people they might have went over their heads. You could always reemphasize something too.
Man, I think the key, man, is just inquiries, man. Remove those inquiries. Once I found out how to remove inquiries, man, it's really a game changer. Like no matter what you apply to, no matter what you apply for, you just know that you don't have to be scared anymore. Because so many times we get scared, like, oh, I don't know if I'll get approved. I don't want to apply. I got to make sure everything is right.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Apply for it. Apply
That's
for
what
it.
I'm saying.
In the worst case scenario, you get denied, you get a hard inquiry. You delete that inquiry, run that shit back. Run that shit back. Figure out what was wrong, run that shit back. Now you get to rewind, fix the errors, and do it again. That I think people underestimate the power of just removing those hard inquiries. That goes into getting as many funding as you want. That goes into getting as many auto loans as you want, right? Making sure your credit score, your vanity credit score is up, right? Making sure that credit cards, mortgages, all of that. Man, learn how to remove those hard inquiries and master that.
Most definitely. Appreciate you, Julian. Appreciate all the jewels. Can you tell us how we can find you, what you got going on? You know, how can the people get in contact with you, what you got going on?
You can find me on Instagram at JTalksCredit. You can find me on Facebook, Julian Pilate-Hutcherson. I have a Facebook page, Take Flight Solutions. Every day I'm dropping gems, dropping tips on how to improve your credit, how to leverage your credit to invest in businesses. I have a business funding checklist, a free business funding checklist that I want everybody to check out. Look, a lot of people come to me, say, what do I need? What do I need? What order do I need it in? This checklist is going to be able to give you everything that you need from A to Z to be able to get these $100,000 of bank business credit. A lot of stuff that we talked about today, it's listed out, step in order from A to Z. I need you guys to check that out. You could text LIST, LIST, to 707-244-7669. That is LIST to 707-244-7669.
And that's free.
And that is a free.
Wow.
Check that out, y'all. Check that out.
Wow.
That's my gift to y'all. Check that out.
There you have it. Y'all have a blessed one.